Good morning and welcome to your Tuesday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to give you something to think about and feel into and hopefully talk with others about, because the more we're talking about this stuff, the more it spreads. So we have a card today that we've had recently, and again, as I've said a bazillion times, I think when the same message keeps showing up over and over, we need to be paying attention. Good morning, Nancy. You're the first one here today. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I got a little Cupid crow going on here. Ain't that fun? So we'll give it a minute for everyone to jump on, and then we'll talk about our card that we've had recently. Again, we want to pay attention. Messages are repeating. And then I get to spend a little bit of time with my coffee group this morning. I so look forward to chatting with these ladies, and then I get to do jury duty again. Doing my civic duty, trying to find parking downtown. I'm not sure how long they'll give us for lunch. We'll see what happens, but yeah. So I'm 2 for 2 on this thing, and have to call every day the rest of the week, and then next Wednesday, and then I think I'm sprung from jury duty. So we'll see how that unfolds. I think it's going to be miserably hot today, so I hope they have really good air conditioning. So how y'all doing? How is everybody? Hope you're having good days and wonderful things to think about and putting your energy into things that really matter, etc. But as always, let us start with a little tapping and a little breath. Tap wherever you choose. This is my go-to spot when I just want a little pick-me-up. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more. In through the nose, a little deeper. Hold at the top. Out through the mouth. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. I was thinking someone else had to be here, even though my counter is still only saying 1, because there's a plus and a care and a happy at the back end of the comments. So I figure there's got to be more people on here. Yeah, it's always an interesting endeavor here on Facebook. So, Allowing Prayers deck, 57 invitations to spark a conversation with your soul. And so think about that. We had a 1 out of 57 chance to get this card again, and here it is. So I think we want to perk up our ears and pay attention. So, card deck is from Siobhan Nash, who calls herself the innkeeper of your soul, which I kind of like. I think that's pretty cool. So here's the back of the card. Pretty little blue bird. And our card is Allow Wandering. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome. Allow Wandering. And again, if one or more of you is willing to put the questions in the feed, I would greatly appreciate it. The first one's a little longer, second one not so much, but again, I think these questions make great journaling prompts, or as if it's a conversation, maybe out loud you answered these questions and notice what you're saying, okay? So the first one is, what are you afraid of discovering? What are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself? What are you afraid of discovering if you allow, there's that word, yourself to wander outside of the well-known parts of yourself? So in other words, what would be the shadow selves that you'd be most afraid you'd find? And I'm going to suggest to you that if you're that afraid of finding them, they're there. They're there. And those shadow selves hold gifts for us. There's great wisdom in knowing what your shadow sides are and why you stuffed them in the shadows in the first place. The second question is actually opening the door to, and what might happen if I brought those shadow selves into the light? Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So the second question is, how might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? How might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? Because when we have things in shadow and then we're not paying attention to them, they're still operational, practical rubbles. We're stones now. I like it. The Rolling Stones. We're rocks. This is good. I love it. Because you know me. I'm a rock person. I am totally a rock person. So being practical rubbles sounds good to me. So knowing our shadow selves, bringing those shadow selves into the light. Because here's the deal. Those shadow things are still operational. They're still operating within. We're just not aware of them. So they have an influence on us. So one of the shadow pieces that I was doing some work with over the last several weeks is ego. There we go. Love it. Love it, love it. Rubble was funny. The ego self. Thank you for posting that. I greatly appreciate it. And the second one is, how might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? So, ego self. Ego self, also known as small self. Ego self as the one who plays not to lose. Not playing to win, playing not to lose. Keeps us stuck in those well-known parts of ourselves. When we're willing to take a look at it, when we're willing to say, how's my ego getting in my way here? Well, it's keeping me playing small. It's not allowing me to really acknowledge what it is I truly want in my life, what might stretch me out of my comfort zone. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. What might lead to a ton of growth if I were willing to make the mistakes, look foolish in someone else's eyes, fall on my face and have to pick myself up. If I were willing to do all of that, think about a little kid learning to walk. Again, I've said this before, they spend more time on their butts than they do on their feet. But they don't give up. They just keep going until they get down to what we call toddler. Yeah, and they're moving. They're moving. What if they had said they fall on their butt the first time and they're like, well, I ain't doing that again? We'd all still be quadrupeds. So, being willing to endure some difficulty to get where we want to go. That's one of the things that I'm hearing said about some of the kids as they were coming through the COVID years. They haven't developed the kind of resilience that comes from social interaction with peers, making mistakes, falling on your face, having to pick yourself back up. That resilience isn't quite there. We need to help them learn that and take that on for ourselves too. We've come through a lot. We're going through a lot right now. Being brave enough to face what we're facing. Focusing on what we do want. Thank you for posting that, Abigail. I appreciate it. Focusing on what we do want. We don't want to be wringing our hands. Oh, ain't it terrible, horrible, horrible, awful. That doesn't help us. Focusing on, here's what I want. Here's where I'm going. I just finished up Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, The Serviceberry. And it is a book for our times, folks. It is a book for our times. And she does an eloquent job of running the parallels between how we need to be living as human beings and what she sees as a botanist in plant life. How the plants work together, how the plants offer themselves up in serviceberry, and how that then benefits them as well. So, today, spend some time thinking about what are the things that I have shoved into the shadows. Am I ready, willing, and able to bring them back into the light so I can integrate them, which allows me to feel and be more whole? And given those things coming back online, What's that going to allow me to be, do, have moving forward? Moving forward. Lots to think about. Allow wandering. What are you afraid of discovering if you allow yourself to wander outside the well-known parts of yourself? How might that discovery bring you closer to your true self? Awesome card. Awesome card for today. So, I am off to chat with my friends and then have jury duty, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.